The Committee on Parole is called back to order. The time is 1:14. The date is February the 2nd. Members of the panel are Ms. Pearl Wise, Mr. Pete Freeman. My name is Tony Marabella, and I'll be acting as chair today. We are at the Orleans Justice Center with the staff at Orleans. Please introduce themselves.
Yes, good afternoon, Parole Board. I am Deputy C. Tate, and I have here with me Mr. August Harris.
Thank you very much, Deputy. Mr. Harris, if you would please give me your full name and DOC number.
Good afternoon. My name is August Harris, and my DOC number is 595-203.
Thank you, Mr. Harris. This is a revocation hearing. Let me explain our procedure to you. First, I'm going to cover your parole revocation questionnaire with you. Then I'm going to read to you the allegations of how it's alleged you violated your parole. Excuse me. Then you will plead either guilty or not guilty, guilty with a statement or not guilty with a statement. And then we'll have a full discussion about the allegations. You also have two persons here in support of you. Your attorney, Ms. Dominique Whaley, and your sister, Ms. Maquilla Harris. Do you understand our process?
Yes, sir.
Do you have your revocation questionnaire in front of you?
Yes, sir.
Would you take a look at it, please? Is that your signature down at the bottom?
Yes, sir.
And dated November the 3rd of 2022?
Yes, sir.
Would you take a look at those answers? Are all of those answers still accurate and correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to read the allegations to you. Where is your lawyer? Is she with you or is she on Zoom?
Hi, I'm on Zoom at my office, and I would be stating the pleas on his behalf, if that's okay.
Okay, all right, fine, thank you, thank you. Number two, you have failed to turn in a monthly supervision report since placed on supervision. How do you plead to that?
I plead not guilty.
Okay, Ms. Whaley, do you want to advise him or have you already discussed it with him? You're on mute.
Sorry, unfortunately, I did not receive a copy of each allegation, but we would plead guilty with a statement to that one.
Okay, Mr. Harris, is that your intention? You accept your lawyer's advice? Okay. Yeah. Number three, you moved from your address of record and failed to notify your parole officer of your new residence. Ms. Whaley, do you want to advise him on that one?
Guilty with the statement.
Okay. You were arrested by New Orleans Police Department on September 21 of 2022 for 2 counts of domestic abuse battery and unauthorized use of a movable. Domestic abuse and unauthorized use of a movable charges were dismissed on October the 19th of 2022. How do you plead to that?
Guilty with the statement to the arrest only, not the allegations inside of the arrest.
Okay. You failed, number 6, you failed to provide proof of employment or any attempt to obtain employment to your parole officer since being placed on parole.
So we'll just plead guilty with a statement to that one. I was not aware of that allegation.
Okay. Number 9, you moved from your address of record and failed to provide your parole officer with a new address. You failed to make yourself available to be seen by your parole officer. You have absconded supervision on or about May the 27th of 2022. How do you plead to that, Mr. Harris?
Not guilty.
With the statement.
Okay, and on number 10, you are currently $2,079 in supervision fee arrearages as of this date. You have not made a payment since being placed on parole supervision. How do you
Guilty.
plead? Guilty to that. Okay?
Yes, with the
You're,
statement.
This is your case.
Yes,
Your case has been assigned to Ms. Pearl Wise. She will begin the questioning. Mr. Harris, if you will please answer any questions she may have.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ms. Perry.
All right, go ahead and give us your statements at this time. You want to start with number 2, which is about the reports.
About the who, sorry.
I failed to turn in a monthly supervision report since being placed on supervision. You plead guilty with a statement. What is your statement?
My statement is that you're talking about like not paying, not being able to pay.
No, this is saying that you didn't even turn in a monthly supervision report.
Oh, not saying them.
Number 2, yeah, number 2. Now, do you have a copy of the allegation? You don't have a copy of it? You didn't bring it with you?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, let's look at it. Let's look at it.
Well, I ended up moving from where I was staying.
So I think, Mr. Harris, she's talking about turning in supervision reports to the board. I'm not sure what that consists of, but I would like to ask Mr. Harris if he was aware that he was supposed to turn in monthly supervision reports.
No, ma'am.
So
All right. So you didn't do it because you didn't know you were supposed to.
No, ma'am.
Okay, and number 3 is about you changing your address. You notify your parole officer for change of address. What is your statement on that allegation?
Well, we moved from Kenner, where we were staying at in the river, it's the river, the Lake River, I think, apartments. And we ended up moving from there due to the apartments was going down or whatever. They had, like they was under investigation. The landlord was under investigation, I'm sorry, due to taking money and, he was running out basically with rent, and the housing wasn't in good shape. So we ended up moving, where I moved to New Orleans, me and my girlfriend, and we were staying in and out of hotels at the time. When I talked to my parole officer, Mr. Jason, I had contacted him and told him before we moved, which was in July, and he told me that he was going to assign me to a new parole officer, which is in New Orleans, but nobody never contacted me back. I went out to the parole and provision building, which is with Rampart, and from my further notice, it was moved. And I later down the line found out where it was moved at, which is to the court building in New Orleans.
Okay, all right.
and for the record, board, I did include in his packet just newspaper articles I can find stating the conditions of the apartments where he was residing. They were taken over by a federal judge, I believe. And if you look in the comments, or if you had the opportunity to look, there were a lot of comments stating that the conditions were bad. People were living with sewage. And unfortunately, he did have to leave that situation. Furthermore, from my understanding, he verbally alerted his parole officer. It was not in writing. I did explain to him that those type of things do have to be in writing. And so now I think he understands that. Moving forward, he will be residing with his mother. So we won't have an issue with changing addresses or not knowing where he is. And I provided her address inside of the packet, but he can also provide that to you today as well.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay. Any more statements on the number 4? That's involving the arrest.
The arrest, yes. If you would like, you can ask him the question and I'll just follow up.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Your attorney said that you pled guilty to the arrest, but not the allegations in the arrest. So what statements do you want to make about that?
I want to say that we verbally had a disagreement, and that we were arguing while I was driving, and that in the midst of us arguing, you know, things was getting a little out of hand, and I pulled over and I asked her to get out the car because I was driving. And I got out and I went around and I asked her to get out the car. So I tried to take out the car while she was, you know, kicking and yelling and stuff like that. And, you know, I laid up there, and when she got out the car, you see what I'm saying? I got back in the car and I drove off. I went up the street and I sat there for a minute where I laid there, and I felt as though both of us hadn't cooled off. And when I went back to pick her up, she was walking halfway home because we was down the street from our house, which is where I picked her up at. We went home, you know, we made up, and, you know, I had no knowledge of, you know, me having a warrant out for my arrest.
So you don't know who called the police?
No, ma'am, at the time I didn't.
Well, at the time, did you later find out who reported it?
No, ma'am.
Okay. All right, and what's your statements on number 6?
Which is 6, ma'am.
All right, let me get back to it. I was trying to find something else about that transport to New Orleans.
I believe that number 6 was the, he didn't provide employment. And if we can go back to number 4, I did provide, the refusal paperwork inside of his packet. I also provided a letter from Ms. Stocks. I have been in contact with Ms. Stocks since Mr. August's arrest. She has expressed to me that on that day she was angry and she doesn't wish to see him incarcerated. They do have 2 children. Well, they have 1 child together, and she also takes care of his other child, his son. And so all that is located in the packet. In regards to number 6, employment provided, we would just plead guilty that he did not provide employment. If the parole officer states that it is not there, I don't have any information from the parole officer. I have included his name of his boss inside of the packet. And I have personally talked to him, and he stated to me that Mr. Harris still has a job. He is still on his payroll. He works for KSK Plumbing.
Good. All right, and any other statements that you want to make as to the other allegations?
Um,
Go ahead.
You can talk, Mr. Harris.
I just want to strongly apologize and say that I'm sorry, you know, for my actions and, you know, from my miscommunication of not knowing and having knowledge of what I was supposed to do due to taking care of, you know, paying my fees and reporting on time to make it to see my parole officer. And, you know, from this whole hassle that took place.
And
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, we didn't address, number 7 would be my same explanation for number 3.
Okay.
And Mr. Harris's same statement as number 3.
Okay.
And number 10 is not paying fees, which he pled guilty to with the statement. His sister is supposed to be on this Zoom. She is in the waiting room. I believe they let the wrong person in.
Okay.
But she's not for him. But when she gets on, she'll tell you that she has accepted helping Mr. Harris pay his fees. As we've already explained, him having to move suddenly and living in hotels made it kind of hard for him to keep his funds steady. But since he will be living with his mother, that will be easier for him to do. And since he will have continued employment and not have to pay rent or nightly hotel stays, he will be able to pay those fees. I would also like to point out that my office has set him up with anger management classes. As soon as he gets out, he can come to CADA. It is in the 2-lane tower building on a different floor from my office. He can come here and sign up for anger management. The classes take place every Wednesday. It's $25 a class and it's a 13-week course. So Mr. Harris is willing to take those classes. And I would just say on his behalf that I don't think that jail is really beneficial to him. He's not charged with or hasn't been charged in the past, to my knowledge, with any crimes of violence. And he's committed to working on his issues and trying to deal with his anger in a better way. And I don't think he learned that in jail. I feel like jail is a place where you really have to protect yourself and your guard is always up and, you know, you don't have peace of mind. And I think if he's out, he will be able to get some type of services to help him learn what to do in a more efficient way.
The public defenders program that you all have, there is some indication in the record of drug use since he's been out. What do you have to address that?
I'm sorry, of drug use, if you can explain.
And substance abuse programming through the public defender's office, do y'all offer any kind of substance abuse?
So one, I wasn't aware of any substance abuse issues. But the public defender itself does not offer these treatments. We do refer out, and my office has plenty of resources. I do believe the same program that provides anger management also has substance abuse treatment. I did not include that portion of the website in my packet, but they also have an outpatient substance abuse treatment course that is also, I believe it's 60 days. But if the board is recommending substance abuse treatment, we can definitely find him some. We have a whole client service division that specializes in finding treatment for people.
Answers my question. Mr. Harris, do you think you need any substance abuse treatment?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that. On a side note, there never should be an occasion where you would ask the mother of your children to get out of the car and you haven't made it home. And that never should be.
Yes, ma'am.
Please
And
don't. Please don't. I said, please never do that again.
Yes,
you can
ma'am.
drive in silence. Somebody just stop talking. Just stop talking and then get on home.
Yes,
That's
ma'am.
all I. That's all I had. That's all I had, Chair.
Ms. Whaley, tell me a little more about CADA. What is that program? I'm not familiar.
Right. So I included their website in the packet, but let me pull up my copy of the packet for you.
I'm looking at what you provided us. I'm just wondering how long the program has been in operation. What's the situation, you know?
So I have used this program in the past for the courts. I can't tell you with certainty how long they have been in operation. I do know that it's easy accessible to our clients because it's in New Orleans. They've been on the floor since I've been working here, which has been.
You have experience with them, and you believe that they're a program that provides good services?
I do. This is the program I recommend to my clients over other programs. And then this way I can stay in contact with my clients because it's right here on the same floor.
I understand. That's a good plan. What you provided us, and you mentioned the anger management. I personally would prefer to see him go through the domestic violence program that they offer. Is that something that y'all would consider?
Absolutely, we can do that. Either they offer substance abuse, domestic violence. So any program that you all recommend, he only has to come in to sign up and he can be in the next group. So if he gets out on a Tuesday, he can go on Wednesday, right? He just has to sign up for it. So they're always open spots and pay the $25 fee. But the domestic violence program is 26 weeks long. And Mondays are online, Wednesdays are in person. So if that's what you're recommending, I don't object to it, and it's easy to sign up, so it's doable.
Thank you very much. You've been very helpful.
Yeah. Tell me, is your girlfriend gonna live with you at your mother's house?
No, I'm gonna be there with my son and my mother. Me and my girlfriend, we gonna stay in contact due to me helping her, to provide for her and my child or whatever. And, we still in a relationship together. And, I'd apologize to, I could see more than 1,000 times since that accident took place.
I would say I discussed with Mr. Harris, one, the importance of maintaining stable housing. I also talk to his mother every week. And she's also knows the importance of having stability. And I believe we all reached an agreement that stability includes him living with his mother and, until he's able to get back at a place where he wants to be.
Okay. Thank you. Now we'll hear from your supporters. Miss McQuilla Harris, your sister. Miss Harris, are you on?
Miss Harris just texted me and said no one let her in yet. So she's still in the waiting room.
Who is the lady there that we have on screen?
So I believe their names both said Samsung, but I believe that's for another person.
Well, there's someone on our Zoom screen. Who is that lady?
I'm from Marlon Harmon.
Oh, okay.
They brought me in on the wrong case.
Thank you, ma'am. That's the next case.
Okay.
Okay, and who is this? That other one, who is that lady? She was performed, I think we did. Oh, no, I didn't. Let me see it.
He's connected to audio.
There we go.
Yes, ma'am. Are you Ms. Harris? You need to unmute your microphone.
I'm unmuted.
Good. Are you Ms. Harris?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Harris, why don't you tell us, introduce yourself, please. Tell us what you'd like us to know about your brother.
My name is Marquilla Harris, and I'm August Harris' sister. I just wanted to speak on his behalf and let y'all know, that August Harris is a great person and everything. Not saying that because he's my brother and everything, but he's a good child. He never been no home to no one or none of that like that. We need him. My mom need him. My mom is sick. He helped me to take my kids back and forth to school. He does a lot for us around the family and everything. And the altercation that whatever supposed to took place, I don't think that never happened. And I'm just being honest. And I think he deserves a second chance. I mean, and everything. And he been doing really good, and he willing to participate and abide by y'all rules. And I know most definitely, like he told me before, he's sorry for not doing or complying or doing what he's supposed to do or whatever. And he really will want another chance and everything.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Mr. Harris, is there anything you'd like to say before we let Ms. Wiley close out?
I would like to say that I'm strongly sorry for my miscommunication and my misunderstanding, and that I wish to go forward in life with being able to deal with my problems and my situations more better, and being able to be more aware of situations that take place like this due to my loved ones and being somebody that I care for and somebody that I love. Due to that being my child's mother, I love her dearly. So I want to strongly say that I'm sorry from the disagreement that took place with me and her. And I also want to apologize to the parole and probation from my miscommunication and my misunderstanding and not being able to make my payments on time and my visits.
Thank you very much, Mr. Harris. Ms. Wiley, you have given us a lot of information, and would you like to wrap up very briefly?
Sure. So moving forward, I've explained to Mr. Harris that, you know, if you don't get an answer from your probation officer, go to the building. We all know where the building is now, so that shouldn't be an issue. As far as checking in, I do think it'll be better that with complying with parole, now that he has a stable place to live, his address won't change. If it does, I've explained, you write it down, you send it to your parole officer, excuse me. I think one of the main things is when he gets out, he goes there, he gets the list of the rules again, and he refreshes himself on what the rules are. And so we can make sure, you know, there's no miscommunication and he knows exactly what to do. He has expressed to me that he is willing to do whatever program the board recommends and complete that program. And so my office is willing to set him up with that if that is the recommendation. And I just want to thank you for your time and ask that you use your discretion to allow him for the parole hold to be lifted without him being provoked. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
Mr. Harris, I'm taking a chance on you. I'm just gonna say that I am. When I look at your supervision history, although we're not supposed to mention you were paroled in 2019, we're not supposed to mention your prior, but I have read your supervision record, your notes in the PO. You have not done well on supervision. But as one of my colleagues say, you have a golden ticket today with what the public defender has presented. It's going to keep you busy. You got to go to work. You got to, get off and, do the meetings, and it's going to keep you busy, but it's going to keep you busy doing positive things that's going to help you going forward. So my vote is, I do find you guilty of the allegations, but my vote is to do not revoke conditionally upon you completing the 26 weeks domestic violence course, undergo a substance abuse evaluation that they are going to have done, and you follow the recommendations that they set forth. I would like for PNP to do random drug screens, and that you reside with your mother until you have permission from your PO to move. That means when you get to your mother's house, you got to cooperate.
Yes,
You got
ma'am.
to you got to do what she said to get to be able to live there. Parole is not forever. Just do this until you get off parole. That's wishes to.
Thank you, Ms. Wise. Mr. Freeman?
I agree with Ms. Wise. I want you to complete that DBOP program. And I also want you to report to your probation officer your mother's address within 48 hours of your release. Make sure they get that new address so they can come out there and check it out and approve it. Now, it sounds like me, you might have been in another district. Where you be living now? It's in Orleans Parish?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, that'll be New Orleans district. So make sure you let your old parole officer know where you're gonna be so he can send a transfer request.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Harris, you've received 2 votes to not to revoke, conditioned upon your doing certain things. I agree with my colleagues. It appears that Ms. Wiley has a good setup for you. You need to go to CADA, get all of your stuff there. It's in her same building. You'll have some supervision there in addition to your parole officer. So you've got every opportunity to succeed here. So my vote likewise would be not to revoke, conditioned upon your completing the DBOP program a substance abuse evaluation followed with every treatment, random drug screening, and live with your mother until you get permission from the probation office, and provide that address to the probation officer within 48 hours of your being released. So good luck to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.